Hey, beautiful. On today's podcast episode that we are recording, we are talking about one of your main principles of self-love is self-compassion. Self-compassion means putting your feelings, your emotions, and not overstepping them. Self-compassion means that you are observing what's happening on the inside of you, and you are understanding and you are giving those feelings a credit and validity without creating drama around it. Now, the way you do this is when something happens and you feel your inner GPS system goes beep, beep, red flag, not feeling good, right? That is your little bell ring to tap into what just happened. Why did it trigger certain negative thoughts in me? What is this about? So you start kind of observing. You almost put yourself on the outside of yourself and start inquiring in. This is how you self-coach. You ask yourself questions. Wait a second, what was that about? What did just come up for me? What kind of fears does this little red flag triggers in me? What is it that about me that that it's revealing me, it's showing me that I believe in? Because you are probably, just like anyone else here, is full of limiting beliefs. And if you've been doing personal work for a while, you may have cleared a lot of it out, but there's always going to be something else and something else and something else. And so when you have the trigger come up and you feel the emotion come up, you want to inquire with the emotion. Why does this come up for me? Why do I not feel good about it? What is it about me? First of all, you want to communicate to another person that your feelings, hey, I'm not okay with this. Or if they say, hey, what if I go do this, and you feel something is off, like just trust that feeling, trust that gut feeling, and say, hey, I don't know yet exactly why I'm not okay with that, but I'm not okay with that. Let's not do that. And if you don't know exactly why you're not okay with that just yet, give yourself a second, process the feelings, and come back and say, well, let's revisit this later as to why I'm not okay with that. Please follow that gut feeling, because that is literally your GPS system. It leads you the path towards your desires. So if something happens within you that triggers negative feelings, that's your alignment. That's your it's your little bell ring that says something is off, something is misaligned, something is not working properly, something is causing some friction in my vibration. What is it and why? What kind of feelings, what kind of fears? Because there's only love and fear, and you can choose to live your life in love, and you can choose to live your life in fear. And living your life in fear means being insecure, having negative emotions come up. And in that moment, you can choose, can I look at this feeling with love, or do I look at this feeling with fear and continue being triggered by it, right? Or what's the different perception about this situation that I should take, right? That's going to give me more peace. And that is what I call the practice of self-compassion. You're inquiring with yourself. You're giving your feelings validation. A lot of people have not been brought up by their parents in a way where, like, nobody teaches us to process our emotions. We just kind of learn to accept it. It's there. It's not important. Where, like, did you notice how the society is based intentionally, by the way? In the way where the most important things in life are like, oh, it's there, right? And like nobody talks about it. Nobody talks or teaches money. Now, thankfully, we're having the conversation in the modern world with all the online education system and all the people starting to talk about important subjects like this, right? But like how I was brought up, nobody talked about money. Money was there. Like nobody told me that there are actually rules to money. Like there's how you earn money. There's like very specific ways, to create money. Like it's just there. That's how I was brought up. Same thing with emotions. Like nobody sat down with me. This is how you process emotions. This is what you do. Like I happened to stumble upon those things. And those are the most important things in life, right? Like, how do you just disregard this? Like, hey, it's just there. Like, you don't disregard that. And so your self-compassion is really being attentive to your emotions that are coming up for you. It's it's validating those emotions, not shoving those emotions. That's another thing that we learn, that our emotions are so uncomfortable and there's so much pain in them that we almost don't want to face it. And we just want to hide from it. And it's our inner child that is talking that did not know how to process those emotions properly. And actually, your really, really early inner child, I'm talking like toddler, your toddler knew how to process emotions. How did your toddler process emotions? She threw tantrums. She cried. She beat on the desk. She was raging, and then the next minute she was laughing, and then the next minute she was crying. Like your toddler body processed emotions through her reactions. But then when you grew up, you learned from the society that, hey, it's like nobody acts this way, and it's not normal to act this way, and I should suppress my emotions. I should not express my emotions. And so you learn from the society or from your parents who are telling me, oh, boys don't cry, or like, oh, good girls don't throw tantrums, or don't look like a princess, right? So you learn through both parental and social conditioning that your emotions are not valid and you gotta hide the emotions. And so, but nobody told you how to process those emotions later on or in private. Nobody taught me. I had to stumble upon this through series of discoveries and coaches and reading books and stuff, right? So nobody has told me how to process my emotions, right? And so your self-compassion is really number one, paying attention to your emotions, giving them space. Like they have place to be within you, allowing for them to play through, feel into them as much as it is uncomfortable, as much as it hurts. You gotta feel through emotions, otherwise they're gonna be stuffed somewhere in your body and they're gonna manifest as a disease, right? So you want to let those emotions out. And we've talked about this. So the way you let your emotions out is through breathing, through movement, and through voice. You can scream it out, you can breathe it out, you can move it out of your body, right? And but the first and always step number one is go right into the depth of that emotion. Don't let it like just sit down, close your eyes, feel what it's about. Be compassionate to yourself. Understand why you have your experience. If something caused you to feel unloved, go into that emotion. Feel what is it about it. Feel compassion for yourself. Feel compassion for yourself and don't self-abandon. The way you self-abandon is when you go into the place of shoving that emotion, not giving it validation, and thinking that it's not important. Don't self-abandon. But instead of that, you want to become your own parent. You want to become your own nurturer. And you want to nurture that little girl that was offended by the emotions and all the feelings of being unloved that are coming up for you. You want to give her a hug, validate her, understand, tell her she's important, thank her for showing the emotions to you. Feel through that emotions, and when you feel through that emotions, you'll be ready to release that emotion, right? So that's what self-compassion is, really being in touch with your emotions and allowing the space for that emotion to be, but then releasing. You don't need to overcomplicate this. You don't need to make a drama out of this. You will simply release that emotion out of your system and move on to open the space for good emotions, good beliefs, good happy thoughts, right? So that is my understanding of self-compassion, and that is how I'm going to teach you self-compassion when we are going through the workshop of self-love, why it's important to love yourself, and how you can create more space within yourself and on the outside as well to have the room for more self-love to be developed. I hope you join. Registration link is in the description below, and I can't wait to see you there. Mwah! Ciao!